got an ET hat on, like mask on, and he's just he's going through the drive-thru and he's like, "My name is Stone Cold ET, and I want to order a couple of White Castles to go." And the woman's like, "I can't hear what you're saying." And then he comes to the window and she opens up the door and she's like, "Oh my God." And he just starts going through her, like just literally got mental. "I want some onion," just got mental. "Oh hell yeah." It's just the best. It's the best.
Come on.
No. Oh shit. At least that wasn't on my phone this time.
Technically you're on your phone.
I am watching Seville hopefully win.
Hi everyone.
Hi Chris.
Welcome back to the Alice Man and Facer podcast.
Thanks. It's nice to be back.
We've got Stone Cold ET tonight.
We've got Stone Cold ET with me. Deka is a huge Stone Cold fan.
The biggest Stone Cold fan. There's no one bigger than me.
What was your favourite Stone Cold moment? Is it the milk trucks?
Well, that was amazing.
That was a classic. That.
I'll tell you what my favourite one was. There was a pay-per-view. I think it was called Unforgiven. It was Unforgiven, 1999 or 2000. And if Austin lost, he couldn't fight for the title again. But if he won, Vince would be fired. And the reason why I loved it was a first blood match between him and Undertaker. He stitched him with a camera. Undertaker bled open. He won the fight. Then Undertaker stitches Austin and he rolls out the ring, and you see Austin grab a cup of blood from under the ring and he splashes it in his face, in his own face. And that was the first time when I really thought, oh my God, like, it is really fake, isn't it? Like, I knew it was fake anyway, but you know, when you just like, when you see Mankind getting hit off a cell, you're like, well, you know, that's pretty real. Do you know what I mean? And then you see him like getting a cup of blood and I was like, oh man. But it was a great event though.
You actually saw him get the cup of blood?
Aye. Honest to God.
Oh, that's disappointing.
So why was that your favourite bit then? If it's spoiled it.
That event. No, but that entire event, man, was just
that's like saying,
unbelievable.
what's your favourite ever Newcastle moment? When we got relegated.
No, I know, but that event in that match was just unbelievable. But the beer truck moment, of course, was mint like.
You got one?
So sorry for the people that hate wrestling, by the way.
I liked it when he drove his monster truck
over the
Rocks limo.
That was good. That was brilliant, yeah.
I used to like the Rock and Stone Cold's rivalries. Brilliant. Happy times.
That was when he hid the Smoking Skulls belt. I've got one of them, you know, Smoking Skulls belt.
Do you want to wear it?
He's wearing it on his jeans the night.
Do it.
I've got it. It's the best.
Do it. Bring it, yeah.
I will, 100%.
So yeah, welcome to this week's WWE Frenzy podcast.
He is the best.
Next week we'll have the big boss man in China as our special guests.
I'll tell you one thing before we move on. One thing. I went to watch them.
Who said we're moving on?
Well, you know, I went to watch them and I got front row tickets. When
We've heard this story so many times. I don't know what's going. It's the one where you got his PR on your
Don't
shirt.
Spoil it for the listeners.
Right,
you've just ruined it.
No, you've ruined it.
You've ruined
it. Do you want to tell everyone that's
watching?
Listeners.
I will.
You tell it.
So
he's just told it.
I was front row and I remember.
Did you get beer on your shirt?
You got on the top row. I ran to the front and I got beer covered in it and I never washed my shirt. Well, my t-shirt, me Austin one. I just bought it as well.
Did your mum try and wash it?
She was getting right off. Every time she opened the wardrobe, she was like, "Oh, what's that smell?" I was like, "It's Austin's beer."
Was it your sock?
Didn't wash it.
No, that was under his bed. That
was
crawling away.
What a night, man! What a night! Unbelievable. One of the best nights of my life.
Shall we get on with football?
Yes, let's go.
You sure?
I apologise to everybody.
Well, yeah, we're back.
It's up to you because I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right. You were in Paris, weren't you?
I was in Paris. It's the first game I've missed for. God knows how.
Can you just stop going for the rest of the season?
Just never go again, please. Thanks.
Thanks, lads.
That'd be nice. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hashtag Chris out.
Chris out. Ban Chris.
I thought it was wonderful. Wonderful.
Let's reminisce.
It was just beautiful.
It was just a few joyous days ago.
What was your thoughts on the lineup?
Adventurous.
Adventurous in what way?
Well, I didn't expect to see Shelby come back in that quick after his injury debacle.
Even Rafa during the week said that he didn't think
he would play, but I guess it's an interesting, because he came out and said the same thing with Kenedy as well, as that they've both been kind of carrying knocks, but they were both desperate to play, which I think for me speaks a lot about the character and the desire that's there within the team, which is very nice to hear.
Well, he had injections, didn't he? Shelby to play.
Did you see? I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter. There was a bit of uproar about the fact that footballers can have injections to play football, but they're not tested to see what's in the injections or anything like that, or how is it not anti-doping and all this kind of thing.
Well, if he got pulled in, you might get a random drugs test at the end. Like, because it's just...
Players do get
random.
side.
Yeah.
It's done at random at the end of games. They just get pulled to one side. I don't know why that flies around like, but anyway. They just get pulled, so it could happen. So there's no way the club would ever risk injecting him
Well,
with
that's the
like...
thing. It's obviously something that
Arnie
is
steroids.
allowed to be to be given, but it was cyclists typically, wasn't it, that were kicking off about it because it's
One in particular.
of the reputation that they've got for doping and stuff like that. But it was essentially it was only
Do
going
you
to
not
be like a
think that's sad,
painkiller
by
or
the
something
way?
like that, wasn't
What?
Like, taking drugs to win
Cheating.
in cycling.
Cheating.
it? Marginal gains.
No, but it's cycling. Like, I didn't kill
There's
this.
big money in cycling.
I didn't care. I seen someone was...
Didn't care.
I didn't, honestly. Someone was cheating the other day. I know, I'm sorry, I'm going off topic. The Olympics, what's that scrubbing game? Curling.
Scrubbing games.
Someone was cheating at that.
Oh, the wind.
Help us out.
What did they do? Put a bit of a
So,
machine
no,
on
one of the
on
Russians
ice.
got done for steroids. And they tested positive for steroids and they got eliminated from that section.
For curling?
Steroids in curling.
Is that what it's called, curling? Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that, there you go.
Well, what does that
Scrub
happen to?
faster, scrub harder. I didn't know. But what I'm saying
Throw
is,
the thing
why-
down the ice quicker.
Why would you, for that sport, like, even if I won,
Well, it's Russia, isn't it? That's,
even if I won, my dad would go, I'm not even going to congratulate you, you're scrubbing the ground. I wouldn't be, you know what I mean? He would. In the
Sorry to
Olympics.
all the curlers
It's a
that
big,
are listeners.
it's a big game around the
I
world
cannot
in
believe
colder
these people
climates.
Cheat to win that. You shouldn't cheat anyway.
It's the Olympics, however.
But
It's
if
not
you-
like it's bloody the Ashley playing the dog and duck at curling, is it? It's the Olympics.
It ain't far off. It ain't far off. Who gives a monkeys with the Olympics anyway? Sorry, back to what we're talking
I
about.
quite like
It's the
Olympics.
Winter Olympics, isn't it?
It's curling, man. And anyway, back to what I was originally saying. Cycling. Who even wants to win at cycling?
Is there any other sports that you want to sleep while you're here?
No, I'm
You happy with them too?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Curling
There
and
must be a
cycling.
few more, surely.
Oh, there's plenty more. Cricket's another one.
Whoa, steady
I
on.
do like cricket.
Cricket's horrendous, man.
Nah,
But
can't
I
get
love
into it.
baseball, so isn't that weird?
Eh?
But I'm a young
What, do you mean rounders?
I love baseball.
It's just rounders.
Big back rounders.
Just rounders.
Amazing. I went to watch the Yankees play. It was unreal. Amazing. Brilliant.
I feel as if we've just gone completely the opposite direction
No,
of
like,
what we're trying to
the
do.
best game we've had in ages, a mint result, and he's sitting here talking about bloody cycling,
It's because-
curling, rounders.
It's because I'm in such a great mood. I hate to complain about
Bet
something.
you've got the full outfit as well when you went to see them.
What?
The Yankees.
I already had it.
I fucking knew you would, you know.
Oh, well, I haven't-
Shirt and cap and everything.
I haven't got pinstripe pants, but I've got the pinstripe.
Shirt and cap.
Of course I have.
You
100%. My ass has got the same.
Oh, you didn't wear them at the same time, did you?
Have you not seen
He hasn't.
Yeah,
Fuck's sake, man. I knew that would
It
happen.
was on my honeymoon we went. It was brilliant. Brilliant, man. Derek Jeter, home run, unbelievable. It was the best.
Were they full of steroids?
It's fine, they were.
Took it to first base.
A-Rod was. Alex Rodriguez, he
Alright.
loved it. Neil on his arse. He loved it. Anyway, though.
Haven't got a clue what they're talking about.
So, I want to bring
Rounders.
something up.
Is it to do with Newcastle United?
100%
in
it is,
football?
yes, 100%.
Thank Christ for that. You can just fast forward these first like 5-10 minutes.
But
if
you can't
you're
because I've already listened to it, you daft shit.
Oh, I soz.
Rewind
it so then fast forward it again.
So you said it was adventurous team selection, right? Like you said.
Yeah.
So it was the same team that started Man United, but that meant Richie started. And obviously, I know I had a little laugh at the end of the game, but obviously, judging by your reaction last week, you thought Atsu would start. You would rather him start because he's probably more adventurous. I would say probably is. What was your thoughts on Richie starting? And on you as well. 'Cause I know you weren't there, but he started. So what was your thoughts?
I didn't see the type.
I think it's-
the team beforehand, like the first.
It was the same as Man United.
Yeah,
Obviously.
like-
I think it's you know if he's fit and he's going to play him because he's one of the first names on the team sheet, and we've talked in the last few weeks about kind of performances and stuff like that and whether it warranted him and being in the team, and he has had a pretty poor form of late.
To say the least.
I wouldn't say at the weekend he set the pitch alight. I kind of say he did much wrong, but he didn't do.
See, I'm going to be really
Anything
honest here,
amazing,
right, about that performance on Saturday. After we scored so early, which I know we'll come back to that and we'll talk about the goal, I actually thought for a good 20-25 minutes we never touched the ball after that. It was all Southampton. When I say all Southampton, I mean Southampton had all the ball.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
weren't
saying
doing anything with it.
they weren't doing it.
Well, if you look at
It was very...
The stats
Yeah,
at
if
the
you
end of
look
the
at the
game,
stats,
we
they
only
did have
30% or
more
something.
ball
weren't we?
possession.
Right? And after we scored so early, I'm going to be honest, I was actually getting a little bit, not at all ratty or anything, but a bit worried. I was thinking, Billy, we need to get hold of this ball. Because I felt it was going to be like, they're going to score back on half time or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I thought, well, we're letting them have the ball. And I thought, we've started so well like in the first minute, and we've never touched the ball since that. The next time we touched it, we scored again. But anyway,
I think we just it was just set up perfectly for us to play counter-attacking football. Let them have.
To be fair though, Rafa tactics. Once you take the lead, they can have the ball as much as they want. If they're not going anywhere with the ball, I don't think anyone's off.
They literally did nothing.
Well,
they had the ball, but they didn't have it in any really dangerous positions.
But like Deka says, all it takes is for a set piece or a corner coming in where you could be level with it.
I mean, in fairness, I'm saying that, and to be fair, Shelby obviously played the ball into Kenedy. Well, to be fair, it was almost. I know it was a ball into him, but my God, how well did he do for that goal?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, away, he kind of flicked it over his head, turned, and then just slotted it away.
But he took it on his chest, didn't he? He took it on his chest and knocked it around him on his chest, didn't he? Then he spun, and I know it was a missed kick, like, but bloody hell.
I think everyone, once he turned, I think the whole ground thought, bloody hell, he's in here, like, there's a great chance.
It was Bergkamp-esque.
Better than Bergkamp, because Bergkamp's was a mistake. It
was a foul.
I don't know that. That's probably one of the best goals
I was at that game.
No,
I was at that game. I was at that game. I was gutted. You know.
It was a fluke, that man.
Nah,
fluke.
I said it was a fluke for about 12 years. Like,
I'm going to say for the next 12.
Fluke. He was one of the best players the Premier League's ever seen. Like,
who? Dabazas?
Yeah.
Aye, but after the Kenedy goal, which was unbelievable, like amazing, great.
Which one did he nearly cry at? Was it his first goal or his second goal?
The first it was. The first goal is when he. Aye, like how much?
If it was.
He was crying.
I think he was just.
Well, he looked emotional about
it.
He
did.
Right?
I think he was, but I think he was just mid scream.
Well, maybe, but he looked emotional about it, which I thought was great. Then Shelby again won the ball early and played a ball into Gale.
Yeah. As much as I hate to say it, Shelby was unreal.
I thought first half he was. I thought second half you could tell the knee was giving him some jip. I thought, but the first half, man, God,
you can
how good is
kind of expect that because he hasn't trained much.
Yeah.
Even in the last week he was joining in training, but he couldn't have been, you know.
Diarmi is the perfect person for him at the moment because Diarmi does all of that, the awful work, if you like, the pressing, closing down, tackling early, all the rest of it, which allows then Shelby to I wouldn't say take his foot off the gas, but allows him just to play the Hollywood stuff, if you like, you know. And that ball he played for Gale, man, straight after we scored the second, he bent it around 3 men, and Gale was 1-on-1, but he fluffed it.
Two 1-on-ones.
Good chances.
To be honest, that one, I think it was that one, was when Perez was probably better placed to actually take that shot.
That was the second one. The first one, Shelby bent it round and he took a touch, took another touch, and then the keeper came on.
Got it. Yeah.
The second one, I agree. I think Perez was coming on.
Perez was coming on his right foot. All he had to do was just. Yeah. But for some reason, Gale tried to hit it with his left and put it around. Whereas if he was on his left foot, it would have made more sense for him just to send it that way. I don't know whether he tried to do the keeper or something like that, because that's maybe what the keeper was expecting. But
it's kind of contradicting what I said before there, actually, because when you think of it, we could have been 3-0 up.
Oh, aye.
At that stage in the game,
it was a result of breaks on the counter attack.
Diarmi time and time again on Saturday was winning the ball early on, winning it high up the field. Because I think there's no point sometimes. There's a point in winning the ball back, but you know when you win it in your own half, deep in your own half, and we end up just lumping it. Diarmi wins it in their half, and all of a sudden we're away. You know what I mean? And it happened time after time again on Saturday.
Well, I think that was one of the things that helped put us on the front foot. Is I don't remember Shelby doing what he normally does and coming and playing on the back four's toes. Yeah. He was much further up the pitch, actually wanting to get us on the offensive. And I know we spoke last week of that. Rafa came out after the Liverpool game and said that we needed to be more offensive against Southampton, and literally from the first minute we saw that was the case. Whether it was probably a bit fortunate the fact that we did score that early, probably then allowed us to relax somewhat and then start playing the football. But I mean, Southampton were awful. Absolutely awful.
I didn't like it. I understand it. I mean, they've only won 1 in 17, and I mean he's been sacked now anyway, hasn't he? Yeah. But every time the manager touched the ball, they were booing. Yeah. You could hear boos coming out, and one of the lads behind me, he's a good lad. He said, "What are they booing about?" And I said, "If you notice, it's every time their manager just picks the ball up to throw back in the play, or or to give it to someone for a throw-in, every time he touched it, they were just booing him. And I was like, it's a bit awful. Like, but it is what it is, you know.
Well, it's
I get it.
It's
No,
club.
I know.
We done the same with Porgy. When Porgy was there, every time he stood off his seat, we booed him, didn't we? I loved that.
That was great. That one.
I loved that game.
Every time you got up.
I loved it. That's one of my favourite. That's one of your favourite moments I've seen in the park.
To be fair, it's a big risk for them. Like this stage of the season.
I don't think it's a risk sacking him, but I think they were better twisting than sticking. Like what was the point if you stick and you stay with him? You've only won 1 in 17. It ain't going to change much in the last 8 games, is it? You might as well twist.
You're not giving whoever comes in the chance. It's the same with
what we did.
Benitez, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you were going to make the change, do it a couple of days earlier.
10.
Certainly a year ago.
2.
Sorry, 2, yeah, right.
Yeah, you got 10 games. But I thought going back to our performance, I think it was. Do you know when you're saying about Shelby coming deep there about he wasn't doing that? I think 2 people have helped dramatically with him not having to do that. Is the keeper and Lejeune, because Lejeune is so good on the ball, and our keeper's so good on the ball now as well. He's quite good, isn't he, on the ball? I think that takes so much pressure off. Like, you seen Lascelles coming wanting the ball because he knows the keeper's got the ability to find him, and Lejeune on the ball is brilliant. He's like a defensive midfielder.
Well, his confidence is definitely gone up.
Skyrocketed, hasn't it? And every time he was giving it to Lejeune, he's coming back inside, having a little look. And he almost... Because when we had Clark and Lascelles, we've got no ball players. Let's be fair, we haven't.
Yeah.
So then Shelby has to come back and try and help. But when you've got Lejeune, he can do it. And he's lovely at bringing the ball out. He can pick a pass. He's comfortable on the ball. It's brilliant to see. Like, it's really good. I was really pleased on Saturday.
No, but I mean, that when you're mentioning the keeper there, again, for me, he was magnificent. He's just so commanding. Yeah. Like, the amount of, corners that you were saying, he was coming out and just plucking them out of the air. There was only one, whether it was a cross or it was a free kick.
He ran in
free kick, and he came out and he went to punch it, and maybe he's got a little bit wrong, but he still got it, kind of got it away. That was the only one where he didn't actually get up.
The only thing he did wrong. Did you see it in the second half when he went to throw the ball?
He took it into the ground.
He went to throw it, he kept hold of the ball. That was funny. But
when I landed it must have been.
But then he got it and just started then dribbling away past the striker.
I landed it must have been about 30 minutes in. I think it was 1-0 by then. I think we might have scored just after I landed to get the second. And I was constantly going through the airport, going through passport control, checking the scores and that. And it was just constant people saying, Dubroviak just gathers the ball. Just the way we've never had confidence in a keeper like that for a long time from corners and set pieces.
He just seems massive when he comes out and gets it, because he just gets up so well, and he's almost must be 10 foot long, because the way he gets up and just plucks the ball out of the air is unreal.
He's timing as well. If a ball comes in and if it's in an area where you think a keeper could get it, he will get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He'll come for it. He's not. I always found Darlow, as much as I don't mind Darlow and Elliott. I think we've had this discussion many times. They're not amazing, but they're alright. Darlow's very indecisive, isn't he? He would come and then he wouldn't come
and stop and go.
I don't know if he's indecisive. I think he's a bit rash.
Well, sometimes when I've watched him, when the ball's coming in, he's wanting to go for it, then he doesn't, and it's too late.
I think that's because he's rash in his decision, actually trying to rush out to do it, and then thinks, I'm not going to get there, rather than weighing up, which is then the indecisive side of things. Shall I not?
It's too late.
He goes and then he goes, I fucked it up here, I need to get back.
This kid just, it was about 3 or 4 almost seemed in a row where he's just coming out and
just plucking it.
It was just
the arrival of him and the inclusion of him in the squad has just realised, I know we've said that Darlow and Elliott are good keepers, but since he's come in, you think this is what we've been missing.
We've all sat here and said we don't, not just us, all of fans on Facebook, Twitter and everything, we don't need a goalkeeper. That's not where we need to strengthen. But even on transfer deadline day, when we was like, why are we buying a goalkeeper?
He's made a
but
massive difference,
he was adamant that we needed a goalkeeper. He's chased one since the first day he came in.
No, it's spot on.
It's so
he has made a massive difference.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Just the confidence across the defence.
If you go back when his debut, we're not beating Man United, no. We wouldn't have won that game if it wasn't for that keeper. There's no two ways about it.
He's just came in, slotted straight in there like he's been playing there for years, and
And every goal we've conceded since then, Liverpool 2, Bournemouth 2. So he has conceded 4 goals, but,
He's the only one of
Never
our loan
conceded a
signings.
goal at home, though.
no, he hasn't.
He's the only one of the loan signings that we've got the option to buy as well, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah,
4
minute.
million.
Yeah.
4 million.
4 million, which is a
just
steal.
Aye.
An absolute
That'll happen.
steal.
Let's not do it now.
We'll get that money back off selling one of the other keepers.
Yeah.
That'll definitely happen. That for 4 million, you're buying him. There's no
It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Oh,
It's a
absolutely.
no-brainer.
To be fair, you could even see both of them going
Yeah.
with Woodman.
Woodman will be pushing high, and then obviously Sells will be the one they'll want off the books categorically. Because he'll be coming back.
He'll be away. He'll not come back. I don't think. That's
All
certainly
right,
would be
but he will be coming back technically in a way.
Lazar's back, isn't he?
Oh, Jesus.
Is he?
Aye, I read that he's back. Because that team
get
was
released?
so shite, aye. And he wasn't even making their
Oh,
squad.
that's right. He
So
wasn't.
said I was shipping him back to him.
He's been a disaster, him, hasn't he?
It's a funny one because he came with a big reputation when he first
Well, you know what's
came
funny,
over
right?
and
And
that, and
I've said this for years, right? Years. On Twitter when you see accounts and people put on their lineup, like they'll put on that, oh, this is what we're going to go with on Saturday. Whenever you sign a player,
Let's stick him in straight away.
he's in, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Lazar was ahead of Dummett every single time. I remember when he was first signed him, Lazar's left back, brilliant, blah, blah. And again, I put it on Dummett. It's just been amazing, hasn't he, man? Yeah, how good was he? He was brilliant on Saturday, man.
there came a moment on Saturday that I never thought I would witness in my life
I know he's
ever happening. Like, and even in Paul Dummett's wildest dreams, he could never imagine the moment that the Gallagher started singing his name.
Yeah.
He's one of our own.
Unbelievable.
A couple of times I sang that, yeah.
But
Deserved.
Christ
Credit to him.
almighty,
Credit to
he
him.
was unreal.
He was, wasn't he?
I mean, you'd be hard picked to look around that team on Saturday and pick anybody except Perez that didn't have a very good game.
I knew he was going to say it, I actually, we'll come to it.
Have you seen the stats as well? Someone tagged you in the Perez stats. And we pick up our most points when Perez is playing.
Bollocks.
It's not bollocks because it's him, people.
Do you know what it is? He does a lot of work, right? I watched him a lot on Saturday, and I seen him falling over when he's attempting to tackle someone else. So I seen him
Exactly.
actually try to tackle a player. So he's
Fall
going in,
over.
and he was the person that fell
He's
over.
coming off worse.
But if you look at the second goal, which was a brilliant
Yes,
goal,
aye.
wasn't it? Like, he's breakaway there, and for once out of the last 47 times he's been in the same situation, he made the right pass.
It was
Normally he
it was
gives
a
it away.
textbook counter-attack, wasn't it?
But I'd say I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, Perez, he brilliant," and he let the ball go just at the right time. I don't know. He was a millisecond away from being tackled by 3 people. There was so many times.
Technically, that's the right time to get
There was so many times you could have played that very same ball through,
Did we
and he
score?
just hung on and on.
Did we score?
I thought his feet
Well
was
then.
brilliant. He went right or left there.
No, he stumbled and nearly fell out of the ball.
No.
He'll never give him any credit, will he?
It was
I have
really
once
good.
this season.
And Gale there was superb there
Yeah.
to find.
Well,
the
to be
pass.
fair,
He came from his own box.
he had to pass it then.
Really?
Because
Nah.
I was
He's a striker, man. Like, you would
but-
assume he would shoot from there,
I
man.
was surprised
I'm
he passed.
glad he didn't, because Jesus, after 2 1-on-1s before that, and had he have
Had he have passed and got intercepted, they would have buried him. Because they would have said, "You should have shot from there." 100% people would have buried him.
Nah, he would have needed to take it on first. But what made it was the fact that Kenedy went from the right hand side,
He's so
cut
hard,
across
isn't
in front of the defender, which then marginally took the defender away, and he kept going. And then the defender went, "Oh, hold on, I can't go with him now because he's piling into the box." So he then pulled back over, which then left Kenedy in. So just
was a good
everything
goal,
about
wasn't
that,
it? Great
that
goal,
move was just.
lovely. Like it was. That's just the style. What Mark said earlier on. If what Rafa I think wants to play more often is counter-attacking football.
Just absorb the pressure and then go.
We don't have the real pace in the team to be able to do that, and that's the biggest thing that we've got missing. Kennedy's reasonably fast.
He's not
Gale,
that quick. Though,
no,
is
he's
he?
not,
He's not quick.
rapid. There's probably only Atsu that is.
Atsu and Yedlin,
You know,
they're the two that I would
Maybe
say.
Murphy as well when he goes
Murphy's
in a
quick.
straight line.
Yeah,
not
Murphy
not
is
with the ball, but
Oh, he's fast though.
pace-wise.
He's fast, like.
so. And I guess it was just because it came. Did it start from? No, it didn't start from the keeper. Was it?
With the second goal.
Was it their
So they
was
had
it
a
a free
corner.
kick or a corner,
They had
wasn't
a
it?
corner
And just
which got
broke straight
cleared.
out from it.
And the lad, it was a good player actually, the centre midfielder. He didn't play very well.
He went to control and just
Oh, no,
went
he
out.
went to- didn't he?
kick.
That's right,
He went to
aye.
volley and he slipped.
Yeah.
And all of us went away, and then Perez just broke from that moment, and then obviously.
But I mean, Dwight Gale literally got from the 6-yard box to the edge of their box within seconds.
Yeah.
And I guess that's again when you're playing a team that's down on motivation and that kind of thing was there. They weren't in any rush to get back, and we've been on the end of that so many times from us not chasing things back.
I mean, you look at I think they've got some decent players then. And Redmond and doing nothing.
Redmond did not. Well, to be fair though, Yedlin and Lascelles didn't let him have a kick.
Lascelles was brilliant.
Brilliant. Even Richie to some extent.
Well, I personally, I think when Richie plays, I criticise him going forwards quite often, but I think defensively him and Yedlin together are actually quite good. I think Richie.
I think they've got a better understanding, but
definitely
I still stand by the fact, and again it was happening at the weekend, is Richie always leaves Yedlin exposed because he gets sucked across into the middle of the pitch.
That's good.
Especially when you've got
all the time. Compact.
But when you know for a fact that their left winger and left back's just standing there on the touchline,
I've been with you, Chris, and I've said the same, and I've said the same to you. Right? It annoys me when I see that happen. I remember that Watford game, man. Remember the Watford game with the mask on Zorro?
Yeah.
He absolutely tore apart. Remember? And he's standing on the left-hand side, and Neyman wanted to mark him for some reason. But anyway, that's history. Doesn't matter. But 2-0 half-time, best ever.
Yeah.
The best.
There was a bloke who sitting in because the seat next to me is a spare, so it's just like a match day ticket.
So
there was this old bloke that was sat there, and literally before the game had even kicked off, he was slagging off Richie. He's like, "Oh, Richie," right? He's just like sitting there muttering to himself, "Oh, he's very terrible, Richie this, Richie that." So, and he just kept on going and kept on going. So when Richie scored, it was great. Everybody that was set was just like,
Probably do that when Perez scores if you did it.
Aye, they probably do, aye.
But he just sat and he didn't move. When we scored, he didn't celebrate or anything.
Did he not?
He didn't celebrate.
What a
celebrate.
What a prick, man. What?
So we're
Tell me to toss her.
That's ridiculous.
No, because we're just like I say, when he scored, we'll just turn around and go, "Hey, Richie!" And he was like, "Oh."
See, that's almost like a Mitrovic reaction where he scored again. He scored 2 on Saturday. He scored the winner again.
Doesn't play for.
And fans, I think, are more annoyed that that's happening. I think they're gutted, and it's just like that. I bet some of them went, "Oh, Mitrovic has scored again," like because they want to be proven right, and they're disappointed.
It's only the championship. That's why he's only scoring in the championship. Like he only scores against China.
I'm staying out of the Mitrovic arguments because you see them every match day. You see them and he's a Fulham player at the minute, and like we said on the last podcast, he's doing what he's been sent to Fulham to do. He's scoring goals, and he's proven a lot of people are wrong. There's the amount of Newcastle fans that have turned around and said can't score goals. Then their argument's always been, well, he can't score in the Premier League, and when he got his chance in the Championship, he couldn't score in the Championship. He's scoring them in the Championship. Nice. And I took the piss earlier in the season when we first went. I was like, "Oh, Rafa wants him to score 20 goals." You might.
Again, is that not because of Rafa knows that he is a good goal scorer? Give it, and like we've sat here and said, given the right service and the right team around him, he will absolutely score goals.
He probably doesn't want to come back, to be fair.
It just pisses us off when you like. I haven't even seen a fan.
He won't, because he does not fit into our style of play
yet. You never know if a takeover happens. You never know. We might get some more. We might change the style of play a little bit more. I don't think we'll always play this way. I don't think if we get the buy.
You just when do you see Premier League teams playing with 2 wide wingers that sling balls into the box for a big striker to attack?
You're right.
It's as much as because we were brought up on that kind of thing. It doesn't.
Well, Carroll was.
It doesn't
the only
happen
one
anymore.
That we had after the
that Championship season.
And then he came to the Premier League. Did well, to be fair to him. But anyway, I mean, the only thing that annoys is when there's fans obviously have had a right go, and then I don't see anyone on Twitter going, "Do you know what it is? Actually, I hold my hands up. I was actually wrong a little bit." There's just no one. No, everyone seems scared to admit they were wrong. Like, just say, hey, you know, it's actually doing really well, and I was wrong. There you go.
And to be fair, the way that the tide shifted with Paul Dummett at the minute, and he got loads and loads of praise on Saturday, and rightly so. Mm-hmm. If you're man enough to turn around and say, oh, I was wrong about Dummett, and he's been fantastic since he's returned from injury, at least when Mitrovic say, oh, well, he's scoring goals, you've got to admire that.
Absolutely.
He's doing what he's
and he's not just scoring a goal when they're winning 4-5 now either, by the way. Like if you
when are you scoring crucial goals, man?
The 1-2-1 or
they haven't lost in 17 games or something daft like
The
that.
Fulham fans absolutely.
Of course they will. He's banging them in, and he's scoring goals at important times.
He's match winner as well. That header was a good header as well.
That's exactly how we felt about him when he came to the club, because we'd seen what he could do, like from his time in Belgium, and for the national team and stuff like that, and then.
He scored 9 or 10 for us in the Premier League. He scored against the Mackhams, which for me, when he got knocked out, a couple of minutes after that, he wanted to come back on. Yeah. For me, I was like, that's it. Like, for me, you're in.
Oh, you're a Rafa, wasn't he?
You're in my club now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what I don't, you know, I know we can argue on it.
The Leeds performance last season.
He just loves scoring against Preston as well.
Preston away, that was the
2
best.
goals against Preston he scored.
Best performance
They must hate him.
We played West Brom away. Worst game of football I've ever seen in my entire life, almost, watching Newcastle. Is this season where I think we're getting beat. It was awful, and we're getting beat 2-0. And we're bringing Mitrovic on, we drew 2 each, and he actually scored, but it was offside. Would have been 3-2. He changed that game.
Was it not the Norwich game as well at home? Did Mitrovic come on?
He did. Gil scored a hat-trick, but he had a hand in everything in regards to the flick ons and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? And that's where I think this is where the only question that I had was yes, I'm not saying you should start every game, but when you're getting beat 1 or 2, could you not put him on for 20 minutes, 25 minutes? I don't know. Is he better than yours?
Especially if you're going to just hawk the ball up front.
Well, in fairness, we brought off Gale on Saturday, which I thought was a right decision, because I thought he was struggling a bit.
He looked knackered by that point.
And the ball was not sticking, so we brought Joselu on. No problems with that, no problems. I actually thought, personally, that he looked a bit disinterested for the first time. I always think about Joselu, he always gives 100%. I thought a few times I thought he wasn't really chasing the ball down.
It's like because we're winning, though.
Maybe he's a bit disappointed that he hasn't got. He's lost his place completely now, because he was starting ahead of Gale, but Gale's been doing very well. I think Gale's been doing well.
Yes, yeah.
Against Liverpool, it was a thankless task. I mean,
see, I would have went the other way around for that particular game.
Would have played Joselu. I agree with you there. Yes, definitely, because you've got Van Dijk in the.
Again, what you're hoping is like with that second goal is that you can get away from them on the break.
So back to the game. Richie's goal.
Shelby again, drove from midfield.
So that he did.
He wanted to shoot, didn't he?
I was screaming at him for about 30 seconds to pass the ball on the edge of that box.
Because Richie was there for a while.
I mean, Richie was like, hello,
by himself,
texting him, I'm here, pass to his. He rang his man, got a carrier pigeon sent, and he then still didn't even pass the ball over.
I thought that goal said a lot more about Southampton than it did about us. Because Richie was standing there waving, stripping off, and no one closed him down. So I think that said more about Southampton.
What a finish, though!
Great finish.
Jesus, you couldn't get it any further into that corner. Like, it even grazed the post as it went in.
Obviously, he ran over, and I worried I did, because he ran from so far away. I thought this corner flag was going to really get it.
He loves giving it a belt.
Flew in the crowd.
Hit someone in it.
Oh, aye. And Lascelles celebrated then when everyone else ran away. Lascelles went back over to that corner and made sure they were all right. He was like, yeah, type of thing, which I thought was quite nice. But when he hoofed it, I thought someone's dead there.
Cleaning half on it.
Oh, it wasn't good. But,
he loves giving it a boot.
He does, but it's just, then you knew, even though the points were safe, kind of anyway. It's one of them, isn't it, where it's 2-0. If they did get a scrappy goal,
still a 2-goal.
You're hanging on, but when they got the third, you were like, happy days. Like, you know what I mean? Get the cigars out, it was class. Kenedy, Sevilla scored. Best in the world, away goal, happy. Best ever. Best ever.
Is that your away goal celebration?
75th minute.
You get away goal. You can jazz hands for away goals.
Oh, look at that United fan from London.
Cry.
Lovely.
Cry.
Excellent.
Did he just call them
I did, United fan
did he?
Did he say United again?
Oh, come on, Shearer.
They've got a delay downstairs.
The Liverpool fans happy downstairs.
Can you hear that, listen?
He's gone ballistic. Looks like Stone Cold.
Liverpool.
Oh, great finish. Great finish. Newcastle want to sign Chelsea player on permanent. Actually, that was another thing I was going to mention. Have you heard that obviously the rumours are boot?
Well, that's just ruined some of the questions.
Sorry, loads of questions.
Sorry.
Next thing, Lascelles after the game, did you really been gone, or did you?
No, I asked it.
What did you think of that?
brilliant.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Do you know what happened at the end of the game?
Well, you give us a shirt.
Aye,
She
because
signed, didn't you?
Before that,
aye, she had a.
I'm sick of these fucking signs, though.
I don't know what.
oh no, but it wasn't like an A4 piece of paper.
No, I was on a shirt. What
Jamal,
like
can I have
aye.
your shirt?
cardboard
It was shit.
shirt thing, wasn't it?
So the dad and the girl had gone to outside before the game.
So
as
there's a
they were
mascot
coming in,
lunch for the game.
and was shown that he basically drew a shirt with Jamal 18 on 18. No, he is 18. Have I just made that up?
No, I think you meant.
No, he's number
No,
6.
six.
isn't he?
Six.
Where did I get 8? Who's 18? Dunno, might be 18 once.
Mbemba?
He might like
No.
that.
Jonas.
Might like the age.
Jonas?
Twas.
Jonas was 18, wasn't he? Anyway, so
Continue.
she was standing there with that, and then on the other side it had Jamal, can I have your shirt? Because this is the only shirt that I've got, kind of thing. So he'd at the end of the game he'd hunted her out, and went and gave him his shirt.
And he took that one, didn't he?
She gave him the cardboard cutout, but he basically everybody had gone off the pitch, and he then started making his way off, and he went, "Oh, hold on, I haven't like went and done me little lap to thank everybody." So he like came back around and came and clapped
He got a massive
everybody.
ovation, didn't he?
He was outstanding,
love
absolutely
him,
I
outstanding.
do as well. Honestly, I just love him. Honestly,
I mean, we've talked a few times
never
about.
ever thought I would love him like I do. Like, you know, when we signed him and Darlow, I was like, oh yeah, fair enough.
Well, just that we have
Where
sat
he's come
here
from.
and at times we've slagged him off
Yeah, we've
for
said that he
not
shouldn't make
being
the team.
good enough.
It's I can't believe I've even said that, to be honest. Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, we even
Start the
thought that he
season, we
would
didn't think
struggle.
he'd ever play.
I know.
Start the season.
On paper, he shouldn't.
No.
On paper, he shouldn't.
No. On paper, he's the first
Now
on the
he
sheet,
should.
man. He's the first on the team sheet.
But that's
Honestly, I know they're not the biggest side in the world, but I think he won every header that game, you know. Every header. When he jumps, he just commands everything. Everything about him is just a command and presence in it. Obviously, we've got the keeper now, which again, that helps that
Well, that's got to
situation
give
as
him
well.
confidence.
Absolutely, aye. He was brilliant again on Saturday.
as a
Like, it's
defender,
week after week now,
if
though,
you're
isn't it?
confident of what's behind you, and that if they do get past you or whatever, that
But he
They're
does
gonna do
does
something.
these things that we're mentioning. You know, Conor Flag goes in the crowd, he goes over Aston Ferrari. This woman at the end, the girl at the end, gives him a shirt. He does all of these lovely PR bits as well. Even when we get beat,
But I
he
don't
goes-
think it's
No,
with him. It's not a stunt.
I
It's-
didn't mean that.
I know. I
didn't
mean, and it's because that sometimes can be a bit contrived. But
Yeah.
with him, it's just that's him.
I remember in the championship when we got beat off Fulham away the first game. We played was it Huddersfield at home the second game.
Yeah.
We got beat, and he stayed out on his own, didn't he? And he clapped all the fans around, and he still continued to do that, win or lose. And I just think that's
Even when we've
look
been
back
beat
at
or we've
Shearer.
been shit or anything like that, he'll still.
Shearer will be the
He
first
doesn't
on the
shirk
tunnel.
it.
I love Shearer.
At times he was,
And
aye.
I was a kid and I used to go, can't believe Alan's went straight down the tunnel like when we're getting beat or whatever. And the cells, bless him, will be out there. It's 2-0. And it's just wonderful. Apologise, sorry, it's 2-0. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing.
We've got the reverse rule of what we do on Swansea.
This is unbelievable.
Get ready.
Well, they're out of the Champions League.
Wait.
Outside.
One moment.
Oh, they're outside of them.
Aye, outside.
Not me empty glass over.
But nah, someone get the pints in.
Oh, this is wonderful. Back post, actually young.
He's
force
not even
in the
drinking
goals.
his, look.
Oh, De Gea. Oh, my Lord, De Gea. Oh, God, what a
he's had a
shocker.
nightmare.
He took his own net.
What a shocker. Aye. Literally has. Aye. He's like got the ball and went, I put it in.
Oh, he's trying to tip it over
What
the
a
bar, hasn't he? But
shocker.
he's like,
Sorry, I apologise. We shouldn't be talking about this. Sorry.
peculiar.
Aye, but battle ourselves. England call up. I mean, I don't want him to get it. To be honest, I don't because we need him for us. Like, I don't want him to go away. I'd rather him just be in Rafa's bed for the next 3 weeks, ready for Huddersfield. Yeah. Like, I don't want him to go away. No, honestly, like tactics and talks and loves and hugs and all that. Honestly,
you don't want him running the risk of picking up a knock or something like that. But
do you want now? Do you want any extra training
or
sessions?
getting, I don't know,
I would like him to
tapped
go.
up or anything like
I would
that.
like him to
From
go.
an experience point of view and improving him as a player, it's.
I'm being incredibly selfish when I say that. Yes.
Oh,
I agree
you've
with
got to
you.
be selfish, but I think he would love to go. Like, of course he would. That's what every footballer wants to do, play for the country.
Well,
represent the country.
it's like what Jane has said, about when you go away with England, that it lifts your standards.
The
up
worrying
and you
thing
try
is,
to-
if he does go away with England, is like we've mentioned this before on the podcast, will he
Does his
start
head
getting
get
tapped
turned?
up by the other players? And that's the worrying thing.
That's what worries me.
Because I think Jamal's probably got his head screwed on enough to think, if I go to somewhere like Chelsea, Arsenal, a top club like that, I'm not going to get the same game time as what I have at Newcastle United, and that's going to hinder his career.
As good as he is, he's not getting into a top 6 team, is he?
He's not good enough on the ball to be that.
When they can go out and buy a central defence like Liverpool, £65 million, or was it 75 million? They ain't going to come.
I honestly think he could be as good as Van Dijk. Like that's
give it a couple of years.
Chelsea's bought like Cahill, and at the time they bought Cahill, I would say Lascelles is on the level at what Cahill was then.
From Bolton,
look at Phil Jones. Oh yeah.
No, fair comments.
Well, actually, to be fair, that's probably the only team that he could walk into. Would be the Man United team, because they're awful. But they're not their first choice pairing, are they? Really, they're only getting the time because of injuries and the likes.
He's only getting better, and it looks like that's going to continue.
Yeah, he's magnificent. There's no question.
But as long as he keeps performing, and there's that relationship between, it's a bit like the fans and Rafa. It's the same with the fans and Lascelles. They've got an affinity.
Yeah. There's a connection, isn't there?
He's just mint, man. He's absolutely mint.
And it's to me, I think he's. Everybody knows his mum. They probably all follow her on Twitter, but he's just
he follows me, Jill.
He's been brought up right. You can see he's got good values about him. The way
he's a polite young man.
Yeah, she should be proud.
Look at
and she rightfully is.
Well done, Jill.
Well done, Jill. Look at
Diarmi,
for example.
Two good lads.
3, she's got 3, haven't she?
I only know about 2.
One's a younger.
The basketball player and Jamal.
Is a younger.
You look at Diarmi when they had that bust up, and obviously he had come out that he challenged him, Lascelles, saying like, actually you're not pulling your weight. And since then, Diarmi's never been as good. Like never.
But it goes way back to
the relegation season.
Yeah, the relegation season when it was kicking off.
Aye.
And he was the one that came out and done the interview and went, "There's players in here that don't care."
Yeah.
God, he was.
Which
he wasn't even captain then. He was just a young player.
That was
he was bold enough and brave enough to get out there and go, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
The squad's a joke, basically. That's what you're saying. There's prima donnas in here.
You can't hold him any higher, can you? No. I honestly can't. For me, he's just remarkable.
He's probably the one player in that team that could fuck up and no one would ever even question it. They'll just go, well...
Well, he has at times.
He's never really done something that cost him a goal, though.
Are you sure?
This season?
Don't know about this season.
That's what I mean. It's this season where he's pushed on, isn't it?
This is what you're talking about. How many games we played now?
No, that's what I'm saying. You kind of. Well, that's the thing. Is because he's held in that esteem. You forget about what goes. What's happened in the past. But like then you then look at something like Lejeune, who has got better. You can then go back and pick. You'll know the game because
he was a Southampton game, aye.
Because we sat here and tore him to pieces. Darlow, the same. Games where he's.
I think with Lejeune, I said at the time that it was a bit difficult for him because he got injured, didn't he? He come, I remember.
First game of the season, he was
Albert Luque,
brilliant, wasn't he?
I know, totally different position, but the point I'm trying to make is that you've got a player who's coming in the country, doesn't know anything about it really, gets off to an R-reach start for a game or half, and then gets done, and he's out for all of that time. Yeah. And I think that can be very difficult for someone that's not from around here, and for a foreign player, very difficult.
Especially because he's away from his team as well, isn't he?
Absolutely.
And he's injured. He's not on the training pitch with the team, getting to know the lads and that.
Yeah.
And now Lejeune must be loving it. I mean, Saturday to him did he play? He played against Man United. So when we beat Man United and then won just there, he must be so proud of himself to come back from what he's came back from. I mean, Clark, we don't even mention his name anymore.
That's it. Clark must be devastated.
Like, period. It's not even he's part of the club anymore. We're talking about
last season he was brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. No, 2-1.
One back.
They still need 4 more, so didn't they? Oh no,
well,
3.
Not 2. They just need 2.
Shit. Oh god. Anyway,
it's only 5 minutes left though.
But it is a funny one though, isn't it? You've got like Mbemba is
well,
just
that's
out
what's,
of the picture.
That's what happens when you come into the team. You've got to grasp the opportunity, but with both hands and
that back
make that position your own.
Keeper in that back 4 or what it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You stay with that as long as you can, of course. Hence
you just hope you don't pick up any injuries or suspensions or anything like that.
That's why I don't want Lascelles to go away. Having said all that, and I'll be very honest, if he did go away and When did they play the next England game?
Week on
2 weeks in it.
Week on Tuesday.
It would be immense if he came on. Like if he got picked, he came on for the last 20-25 and was on. It would just be brilliant because I would love him to represent himself and to represent us. You know, for a Newcastle player to get in the call would be fantastic. It would. Be.
Yeah,
I'm just
would
being
be.
selfish when I say it. I hope he doesn't. You know what I mean?
Even if he just goes away and he's just part of the squad.
Yeah.
That's great
what
for
I'm saying,
him.
it's experience, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play
It
with
can't
some
be
of
a
the-
bad thing, can it?
No.
Unless there's an injury, but it's not like it's happened before, has it?
But before that, we've got a European title to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
Who were playing again? Is it Malaga?
Royal Antwerp, innit?
Oh,
Antwerp,
we beat
aye.
them 7-1, didn't we? Back in the olden days, aye.
Antwerp, we're off to. Right, shall we go to questions? Because there's been a ball
Rob Lee
today.
scored. Rob Lee was unbelievable in the away game. He's got a hat-trick or 4 or something.
Did you both say that Jermaine Janus blocked us?
Yes.
That was very nice, was
Was
it?
that because of the goldfish?
You shouldn't have called him. Shouldn't have called his wank sock out.
I think that's what got us blocked.
Wang sock?
Yeah.
I only seen the goldfish ball.
No, so did you not see? It was that picture that you were talking about where he was sticking his head round the door, saying, "Has the Twitter storm blown over yet?" If you looked on the bottom step, there was a
What looked like a sock?
just a random sock
So
just
I was
on
it?
the bottom
So I
step.
just
It might have been
replied.
a snood or a
Well, looked
glove
like a
or
sock.
something.
So I
but
just
it looked
replied
like
saying you could have at least moved your wank sock or something like that.
And he blocked you for that.
I think so.
But if he's going through
Saying that,
every
like-
tweet then, if he's, you know what I mean, let's be fair, if he's seen
Saying that,
that,
I tagged him in all the podcast stuff as well when we were slating him.
ah, well,
So it could have been that.
well, he deserves it, let's be fair.
He still hasn't made a comment about it or apologised.
No, he hasn't,
about it.
no, he hasn't.
He was on Match of the Day, wasn't he?
He was. It would be mint if Shearer was on at the same time.
Nah, because we'd have all been mates in that, wouldn't they? All lovey-dovey, that was the same, man.
But actually, he was gushing in praise for Newcastle's performance.
I think he had to be. The amount of shit that he must have got. I can't be the only one he's blocked. There must be loads.
Nah, it'll be
Must be loads.
Tons, man.
Because mine was quite mild compared to some of the stuff I saw.
I wonder how many
He
characters.
couldn't. The thing is you couldn't. He couldn't not praise the performance. Because as I say, for as bad as Southampton was, we were good.
We made them look poor, and I think that's the biggest game of the season. That was.
Well, we said
Wasn't that
beforehand
the
it was
biggest
a.
game?
It's quickly followed by another
It was
one.
a- it was a
Huddersfield,
must
which
win.
is coming up.
You
Right.
just wish you didn't have this 3-week gap.
Kind of, I agree. Yeah.
Eddie Walker sends in, why do some
No
of our
relation.
fans still think that Rafa is not good enough? Just look at the players he has improved. That alone should be regarded as great coaching.
Because we don't win by 3-0 every week.
That's what it is, isn't it?
What was the first part of the question?
Why do some of our fans still think that Rafa is not good enough?
We'd won that game on
Good enough for who?
We won that game on
Like,
Saturday.
who is he not good enough for?
3-0, but people were still saying, well, that's how we should play every week. That's what we should do every week. You cannot play every game like that.
I think that's a difficult one because I don't think that. I mean, I could be totally wrong. Yeah, I haven't heard anyone say that Rafa's not good enough. I've just heard people criticise some of his substitutions or some of his tactics, but I don't actually think people have said he's not good enough.
Nah,
Really?
there's a lot of people. Yeah.
Do you not think a lot of people
But
are
it all
just
stems
controversial?
from those things.
Because I'm the first to admit there's loads of games I've been to. What the hell's he taking him off for? Why is he bringing him on?
He gets
Doesn't mean I don't
substitutions
think he's
wrong
good
and
enough.
You'd probably get that with
tactics
every
are
manager,
wrong.
wouldn't you?
Wait,
No, who's in charge.
You
But I
would?
think a lot of people tend to slate Rafa or something Rafa does to be controversial. Because they probably don't get much interaction on social media, so they think if I slate Rafa for a bit, someone will see it, retweet it.
maybe.
The biggest complaint I see is that that it's boring negative football. Jose Mourinho is sitting second in the league playing boring negative football.
With that
He's
team,
just about to go out
that
of
team.
the Champions League.
Right, Stephen Hoylett sends in, Southgate's got his number, but is he taking him to Russia? We've just gone on to that, like, haven't we?
He's got a chance, like
He has
he's
to
got
be.
a chance.
Who-
He has to be in Southgate's little book-like thing.
Who is it? Who is
Stones and Cahill are going to be the first
Right.
the first two, aren't they?
Stones? Well, Stones has to. You can't even get his own team, but he has to go. I guess he has to.
And then it's
Then who is it?
Smalling and Jones.
Who's this bloke? Is this from Burnley or something?
Michael Keane.
No. He's
Oh
got
no,
a-
is he not Irish anyway?
begins with T. I think it's quite a. Adam, you'll know. What's he called? Oh man, he plays for Burnley. It's a weird name though. It's like it almost sounds foreign. His name, to be honest. I kind of think they reckon he's going to get called up, and I've never seen him play yet.
Well, let's just look at it. Is Lascelles better than Smalling?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Is he better
And
than
Phil
Jones?
Yes.
Yes.
aye. So he doesn't play for Man United.
But he doesn't play for Man United.
It's bullshit, but yeah, that's what it is.
But those two wouldn't be playing for Man United if the first choice central defenders kept fit.
Right, Lube Driver sends in, would you keep Mike Ashley if it meant keeping Rafa, or would you lose Rafa if I got rid of Mike Ashley? If he got rid of Mike Ashley, was he planning on Dino? If I got rid of Mike Ashley? Don't do how daft me that way.
Please do.
Is the benefit of Rafa enough to cancel out the damage of Mike Ashley? That's a hard question, but... That's a question I don't even want to answer.
I've got
Because
an answer somewhere like it, but I can't.
It's like a double-edged sword, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
If Ashley stays, will Rafa stay? Because is he going to get the backing that he needs and wants?
Mike Ashley has to go.
Something I seen that was interesting.
Yeah, he either has to go,
Or put money in.
or he has to
Lots of money in.
put money
But
in.
he's already
That's
admitted
not-
that he can't afford to
That's
do
not
that.
going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right,
TV deals.
I think
That's what he's been waiting for, isn't it? The money.
our mate Young Mono's got another one. How many points do we need to be safe? And how much will
38.
Kennedy be worth in the summer if we go for
So
it?
we're on what?
Well, that's been...
32 points now.
38 stays up and 20 million for him.
I think 6 points we're done.
And we'll get him from Huddersfield and West Brom.
I think
Those are the two games you're
probably
looking at.
4 would be enough.
Okay.
I still actually think if we needed him, I think we'll get something against Chelsea actually as well. That's the end of the season. I still think we would. I think we're fine. Honestly, I think we're absolutely fine.
Well, we've only, even to get 40 points, we've just got to draw every game. We've got 8 games left.
You don't need 40, man. You don't even need 40.
No, but I'm saying to get to that magic
one-on-one chance to
magic
wrap it up.
figure.
isn't it?
That's terrible,
What an
that.
idiot. What a gimp.
Right, Daryl Thompson sends in, how many millions do we think we'll fall short of Kennedy's asking price?
Well, all the talk in the papers last night and today has
They
been
need
around
13 and 15, isn't it?
million, isn't it? Which
Well,
they only paid 6 million for him, I think.
sure.
6.5.
Not sure, I'd be lying if I even...
there's good
I
signs.
remember 6.3 might ring a bell.
That's
On the
precise.
dot,
Really,
No, well, it's because I read it in
It doesn't.
either
I
the
mean,
Chronicle or Mirror or Mail or something.
we're going to fall. We're going to fall the same as we are with Mitrovic. On the positive side, Mitrovic is he's scoring goals, so our price goes up. He's doing well for us. Their price goes up. We're not going to reach their price unless Ashley goes. The only way we'll keep him if Ashley stays is a long-term loan. He wants to stay, apparently, from what I've been reading today. Rafa certainly wants to keep him. Yeah. So that's a good start. That's a good... At least he wants to stay. Whereas Remy...
got the grounds there, haven't we?
Remy didn't want to... Remy was away, man. I knew that...
Yeah.
You got everyone to sign the ball in the last day of the season because you didn't want to stay. You're fucked then, no matter how much money you've got. But at least he wants to stay. So, you know, there's a chance, like...
Right.
It just, I suppose it depends then what happens at Chelsea, doesn't it? Because you cannot see Conte staying beyond the end of the season, and he
No, he's
was the
gone,
one
he's
that
gone.
I can't see Kenedy ever getting in their team. And I don't mean that disrespectful to him, but them will come in and buy... Whoever comes into there will buy other players.
Yeah, because Kennedy didn't cost enough for them.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. He's not going to
He's
go...
not a superstar, is he?
I want that Kenedy back from Newcastle. He's going to start every week. It's not going to happen. So there's a good chance of it.
Right, Steve Smith sends in, who is our most underrated player?
Paul Dummett.
That's what he's went for.
Has he?
This was I'm sure this was a poll question or something like that on... or did we not get asked this the other week?
I can't remember.
It rings a bell.
It has to be Paul Dummett. It has to be. Well, what I will say again, and this is going back to another question someone said about not rating Rafa and that, but he said he develops players well. The work he's done on Dummett's unbelievable.
Yeah. Who's judging the underrateds? Or underrating like as a fan base? Or as like everyone? Like every football fan?
Well, it has to be Paul Dummett. I know, because everyone thinks Dummett shit.
Dummett.
Like, I went to work the other day and I was like, Dummett was brilliant. And every single person that weren't even Newcastle fan says it. You shite him, man.
I think I was,
And I was just
the only Mo Diarmi, pro Diarmi supporter this
Pro-Army.
season.
No, I give you that. What I will say about Diarmi though, and I hope you remember, I always said I loved how he pressed the ball. I always said that, but I did say he was lazy. And we also played him in the wrong area of the field. He was never a number 10, as long as my horse punched the ground. He was never a number 10, so...
But that's
Do you understand
that's
why?
historically where he'd played for Hull and West Ham, and
He just ain't a number 10.
Right, Dan Johnson's got one. He sent this one in like yesterday before we'd even decided we're doing that.
That's what I told him to.
Oh, did you?
Hi, Dan.
Is he mate like? Have I met him? Is this one of the people that I've met and I haven't met?
You
that
might
you keep
have.
seeing?
Don't know.
Right, he sends in, question for you lads. With all the talk in the media about us potentially signing Kenedy, what sort of price do we think it will take this? We've just gone through that. It's around
20.
the 15 million, isn't it?
We ain't paying 20 million, you know. You have to
Yeah,
remember
we
that. We're not going
We
to pay.
won't pay
Well,
20.
if Blondie turns up, we might. Stay
I've took her off the table at night.
Well, fair enough. Don't blame me.
Good.
That's it, they're out. That's it.
Right, Martin Garrick sends in. Favourite
Superstar
sandwich for
DJ.
them?
Ham and peas pudding.
Tuna for me, like.
Oh, dirty bastard.
I had a tuna baguette the day. It was lovely. Like,
When you say sandwich filling, do you mean in like one of them pot things, or do you mean like just what you would put in a sandwich?
Just what you put in a sandwich I'm going for. Because if it's the one that you get out of a pot, I'm going chicken and bacon.
chicken and bacon's how I eat. Like,
I
tell you-
didn't like much out of a pot. Like,
what was the best
remember when
sandwich
we
for
used to
them?
get sandwich
kebab meat?
spread in a
Done.
tin, like in a
Kebab meat!
Next question.
remember them
That's
sandwich,
different.
sandwich spreads in like a little glass jar.
Kebab meat
Is
and
that
garlic
Prince
sauce.
Prince sandwich spreads or
Hey,
something?
you're not
Like
older
a
than
patty.
us. You're miles older than
What
us.
you on about patty, isn't it, man?
No, it wasn't like it looked like patty. It was like a sandwich
Mark's
spread
like
in
the
a,
type of
in
person-
a little jar thing.
Little jar, like
Aye.
oh,
Was it Prince's or something
it
like
was
that?
paste. It was
Aye, paste. Crab paste.
Aye, I used to have them paste sandwiches.
paste.
Aye,
Oh, you got ham in that. That's what I'm saying. It was like
I used to have them.
like
Aye, paste.
patty.
Aye. That was all right. Nick kebab or garlic, one,
Someone
but it was
rang that, man.
Like ham and peas pudding, and that's what I normally if I make myself
the best. Has to be
a
kebab.
sandwich.
Has to be.
Kebab.
It's got to be the
Kebab
best.
and sandwich. That's not a sandwich though, is it?
That's a buddy.
Have you ever been to Gills on Standard Road?
Yeah, kebab chip buddy.
There you go. Aye. There you go.
I know, but it's like
When's your cut
you're
off
not
for
going to
garlic?
make yourself
Do
a
you-
packed lunch, are you?
Do you have
a kebab
like,
sandwich.
do you have like a curfew for garlic or not?
No. No.
So like, say if you're going to work, would you
You
have
did, you
garlic
didn't
on
have
your dinner
garlic
break?
the other week because you were interviewing
Would
me
you?
today.
Think of monkeys, man.
Would you?
That's not what he
Yeah.
said.
Oh,
Listen
that's
back
what-
2 podcasts ago when he
What?
was talking about going home to get a kebab. He says, I can't have garlic though because I'm interviewing tomorrow. Those were the exact words out of your mouth.
Oh, actually, aye.
Ah,
Aye,
you
it's
see,
right
so there is a
Aye,
kebab.
but if I was on my dinner break and I had nothing, like, if I didn't have to go like in something really, really like that. If
I couldn't do it, mate.
If I was just
If it
at
wasn't
work
making
getting the
on-
monkeys, do you know what I mean?
Like Deka's normally got one of them on his mic, but it's just like disintegrated because of the garlic.
So Sunday,
He stinks. Like you can't smell him. He stinks of
do
garlic.
I do not.
I think you're all filthy. Chili every time. Man.
Oh,
Oh, fuck off.
on Sunday,
Is
I
that
got
the
a
first
kebab
swear word
pizza.
of the podcast?
It is. I think it is. Aye.
Might be actually. We're in a good
Got to
mood.
get one in there.
On Sunday, I got a kebab pizza and chips, and I got 2 tubs of garlic, and I used them within.
Yeah, well, you go to MasterChef, don't you, in the little tubs?
No. She went.
Master Chef. Fucking there was a guy who
the
made
red
chicken
chilli.
parmos on
Sorry, the red
Master
chilli.
Chef, and now they're making pizza
Red
kebabs.
chili. Have you been there, red chili?
No.
Oh, mate, unbelievable.
How big are the garlics though? Like how?
Terrible.
You need like a
Terrible.
tub,
Well,
like
that's
a
why
Gills
Gills
tub,
is the best.
a Raja's tub.
I normally drink that. It's the best one.
Yeah.
It's good enough. It's amazing. Because what you find on most
Rounders.
takeaways, the garlic's like
Cycling.
Gills is like runny. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll pour it out and it will just run like
Wrestling.
water.
And it's pure garlic.
Aye, green bits all over the place.
Garlic
You
mayonnaise.
normally go to the other place and it's just this, like it's like fucking
This
glue.
time next week we'll talk about football.
It's like I take a tub of glue.
He's taking the piss out of us.
And I didn't care. Anyone's listening to him, man. They're interested in garlic.
Did you not say you had curry on your kebab that week?
curry.
Curry sauce?
Yeah, you didn't have curry. Chili.
Why am I even agreeing with you?
You only
You
have-
had tomato sauce
You
on
only
your
have
Sunday dinner.
Chili. Oh, exactly. You filthy bastard.
Are you trying it yet?
No.
Well, then, did
Well,
not.
my mate Nathan has barbecue sauce on his.
Fuck off.
Dirty, filthy
That's
guest.
bad.
He's a wrong un.
Who said we might have gravy on a Sunday's dinner? Like, what gentleman said that? So who
Which gentleman?
Who was it?
Who was a gentleman called Lord Gravy?
Who was it? Everyone's having a go at me going, shouldn't put tomato sauce on. Who the fuck said put gravy on
But
it?
tomato sauce is a condiment.
Who said put gravy on a Sunday's dinner?
Whoever invented gravy?
You fucking ass. You're all sheep, man. You're all sheep. The lot of
No,
you-
because gravy is
He's a raw sheep, man.
gravy is a natural byproduct of a Sunday roast.
Sheep. Right, next.
When you cook your
it
beef,
does come from a
gravy comes out. It's a natural byproduct.
Right. Ian sends in, if you could make one marquee signing in the summer,
Realistic.
realistically, who would it be? These are the questions that I've never got a clue with.
Marquee.
Like, because what's a marquee signing? Us these days, like a 50 million
That's the
player.
thing. You
Kennedy
cannot,
would be
because
a marquee
you
signing
have to-
for us.
Wait, he would. Right?
It's difficult, you know, when you think of that, because Jordan Ibe, you know, cost 15 million for Bournemouth. Jordan Ibe.
Exactly.
I think I'm better than him. Honestly, I'm telling you. Give me 5 months, get fit, I'll be better than him.
Would you put him on your Sunday dinner?
Yeah.
Nah.
We're coming back to young players' price tags here, aren't we? You'll be
I don't
slagging,
know.
be
He
slagging
hasn't
Murphy
slagged him
off
off
again
yet,
in a
so
minute.
let's not wind him up. We've already had it on the WhatsApp, so let's not wind him up.
I didn't see out. I didn't see anything.
We could do a add I'd happily swap. Well, I think I said it last week as well. I'd happily swap Mitrovic
For Kenny.
for not Kenny,
sorry.
for Sessegnon. Oh, probably take
Potential's
probably
it.
take Kenny
Potential's
as
it.
well.
Right.
But Liverpool are very interested in him.
Basically, we haven't got an answer for that.
Nah.
Because we just don't know.
But
it's difficult, isn't it?
a marquee signing for us is like £20 million now. Where what is realistically what does that buy you?
I don't know. It's tough that like.
When you look at somebody like what's he fucking called? Pierre M. Bengi Wenger.
Benga.
We had him on loan bloody a few seasons ago.
Who did?
Us?
Did we shit?
Do you want to maybe go and...
We did not have him on loan.
Good night, everybody.
Sure about
100%.
Aubameyang. We did not
Did
have
not
him
have him
on
on
loan.
loan. He played. He played a World Cup World Cup warm up or something, didn't he? In Keaton.
Well, we're linked with him every window. Don't get us wrong.
He's never played for it.
He came
Where's
on
your
loan.
phone, please?
Did he? Fuck.
He did.
Not having it.
And then he
Kindly put your phone
played
down,
against
search.
Heaton Stan or something like that.
Aye. But for what? Where is he from? Gabarson. Where is he from?
Cambodia, I don't know.
Where's he
Played
from?
against Heaton Stan.
He did.
Heaton Stan?
He did.
What for us?
No, it was for his national team. Is it Gabon that
We've
he
got
plays
more
for?
chance of his father playing for us than Aubameyang.
What? No, he's just making. That's
telling you.
nonsense.
He did when he was like 16,
Nonsense.
16
Nonsense, that.
Sure we did.
We didn't. We got a link with him before. You know, I played for
We're
him.
linked for him every single year.
Apart from that, time we signed him.
We could have bought him for 6 million. Giroud, we could have bought Giroud. Yeah, go back and look at all these players, but we didn't take a gamble on it. That's
No, who should buy?
Lacazette was another one.
Do you know
Lacazette was
who
another
should be one marquee
He's
signing?
shite, but-
there's that.
Two of
What's
them.
he called?
He should be one marquee signing.
That
He's
kid's,
banging them.
that kid's been locked up in Jesmond House Hotel for bloody 8 seasons.
Oh,
What's he called?
the defender.
Begins with a B.
Wilson.
No.
Was he Turkish?
Nah, he wasn't Turkish. Belgian or Austrian or something like that.
I know who you mean. Oh,
Begins with a B.
what's he called?
Can't remember. You know who I mean anyway.
Someone else send in who we're down with.
Aubameyang on loan. That's it. That's the best I've heard. That.
Google it.
No.
No, I don't even need to.
Right,
We just need to find a diamond.
Arun sends in.
Hi, Arun.
Arun, private message, I've never told you about this. He DM'd us saying, thanks for reading the questions out.
It was a DM.
But,
It was a DM. You know,
Oh no,
like,
he
you're not allowed to
might.
tell
He
people.
might. He's like, thanks for reading the question out.
Just tell us where.
defensive
But we
midfielder.
just need to-
All my mates are taking the piss out of the way you say my name because it's just Aaron.
No, it's Arun.
So Arun,
Oh,
he started getting called Arun because when I said Aaron, you said your son, and that's when we started calling him Arun.
That's because it's spelled A-R-U-N, isn't it?
Yeah. So A-A-R-U-N.
Was it A-A?
So from now on, if he sends a question, I'm just gonna
Call him Arun.
even longer. Like each week he sends a question, it's just gonna get longer. So Arun sends in.
You sounded like John Fashion over there.
Arun!
Arun! Go on. Because that's
Right. So the two answers you can pick from are Diame or Lascelles.
What's the question?
I let you work out the question. Then he sent us a.
Who's got
aye.
who's got the biggest schlong?
Yeah. That is
who's the
question.
longest in the shower?
Aye.
Probably more like.
I reckon Diame
I
could,
think we're all agreeing that it's
he could
Diame.
hit the bottom of a pint glass on a flop.
He could play around us with you in your outfit, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could. He could.
Right. Then he sent another one in saying, Yedlin's passing has been proper off the mark recently.
Yeah.
Or is it just me?
No, it has. It's terrible. Terrible.
I don't think his passing's ever been on the mark, has it?
He loses the ball, you know, in areas where you think it's impossible to even think about losing the ball. Like, he's got all the time in the world. Sometimes he's really fast. Sometimes when he's not even moving,
Never noticed.
I feel like he's holding everything about him is like, he's 100 miles an hour and he'll just give it away every time, and it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
His body's too fast for his feet.
Almost, but I still wouldn't change him at all. I'm not, I love him, to be honest. I think he's great.
Like Sonic, do you think he's like just charging?
I'd like to improve his.
Like he's just in a ball, just charging, waiting to be like
100 miles an hour, and he gets it. He's like, "I'll pass you. You're not even there." You know what I mean? It's just like, I agree.
Yes, he's like Sonic, just running anything, just fucking rings down everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd change his hairstyle as well.
Gales just needs us.
Gale, why was he wearing it?
He's been waiting for a few weeks. Dolly band.
Things?
Alice band.
They're
What are they called?
ridiculous.
There'll be an end goal coming with that, but it needs to hurry up. Because at the minute, it's 48.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's horrendous.
Rob Fish is back and he sends in,
Doesn't get a top knot.
do you think the postponement of the Tottenham game may be a blessing in disguise, given that our next game is now against another relegation rival at home? And providing we win that game, will that give us the momentum to stay up? I've never thought about it that way, but that might actually be true. But you never want a big gap like we've got now.
You're going in against... We've came off the back of two good results. Motivation's going to be high. You know, you want to be charging into playing your next game the next day, really. But do you want to come up against an in-form Tottenham team?
No gain, though.
But that is a big one. Obviously, them getting... I mean, I watched them at the weekend, and for the first half, if not most, they were pretty poor, to be honest. Bournemouth gave them a good going over.
If we played with cards right, like Rafa, tactically in that, I think we'll have a chance in that. I know it sounds stupid because they are a great side, but
they're not good at Wembley though.
That's what I think.
That was the thing.
But I do agree with him that I don't like this break though. I don't like this 3 weeks business. Like I just think
they're doing the right thing. I think, in my opinion, though, in going away, getting a bit of warmth in the bones, getting a bit of sun, warm weather training, and playing a game. It's interesting that they're playing.
It's a long game. It's three quarters, isn't it?
Yeah.
3:45. 3:45.
3/3. You mean?
There'll be loads of subs now. As long as there's no taxi jobs and like a West Brom.
Well, speaking of that,
as long as there's not
Darryl Mitchell-Hill sends in, you and 3 players nick a taxi in Spain, and to get back to training camp, who are your 3 players and why? Then he says, mine would be Marino, who can be a translator, because obviously you're in Spain. Jamal, for the muscle security, and for having a cool head. And Yedlin can run away if needed. I'd have are they got to be current players, or can we go anywhere with this?
It's got to be current.
Well, let's mix this up a bit. Let's do current team.
One each. We'll just pick one each.
Let's do past.
Right, we'll pick one each.
Tino has 3.
Tino was my choice, you bastard.
Oh, sorry.
Tino would bring out.
So you have Tino then. Yeah, I'll go move on. Or Ginola, all the ladies would be near.
In a taxi.
100%.
Oh, it'd be like
fake taxi.
Fake taxi.
Just have Ginola off his top off. Be amazing. Yeah.
So what's Tino bring this? Drugs.
Tino's bringing the party, isn't he?
Tino's bringing the drugs.
Fur coats.
He's bringing
Ginola's bring the ladies.
Yep. Over to you, man.
I'd have to bring Kaza.
That's a fair comment, like.
Just for this. Just for the crack.
Having said that,
just for the crack.
We've got to make it back to training camp.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get back. All right. I thought. No, I'm looking at it for like when we're actually out.
We need someone that's really sensible. Who's sensible? Reggie will be sensible.
Mine would have been Paul Dummett for the modern squad. Paul Dummett, because he wouldn't be pissed.
Can he bring his sister?
Is this right? We've already been out. We've got hammered and everything like that. Now we're trying to make our way back in.
Yeah.
So we
don't want the party animals.
Let's say we've been partying with them.
There's my party.
Right? There's my party. We're just left with party with Tino.
You still need some crack in a taxi though.
Aye.
You couldn't have a room full of Dummets, could you?
You'd have us. You wouldn't need any more crap than us, would you?
It's a big taxi, isn't it?
Big taxi.
Right. So we need some sensible heads.
Dummett.
Dummett's going to be. Do you reckon?
100%.
Dummett's pig shit, man. He's no good. You might as well have fucking Stephen Taylor in there. Billy pair him.
Right.
He wants Bernard's Mark.
The cells, right? We're definitely going with the cells, aren't we?
Jamal had talked we're back in.
Yeah, I just like to hug him and that.
Mm-hmm.
He kept us safe on the way home, like, you know.
The Bruff guy would keep you safe.
Big Martin. He'd throw it over the fence to get us back in, wouldn't he?
Then he'd get to the side and catch you as well. He's not catching you, like.
It's difficult to pick, isn't it? You know what I reckon? Out of them.
We've got one more choice.
Perez, because
he knows Spain.
Which part of Spain are we stealing his taxi? Tenerife?
Tenerife, Heath would have me by the
he knows the Malvern there, man. That's where he gets his hair gel from still, man.
Right.
Chipper.
Bullspunk?
Do you know who cuts his hair?
His brother. Right, Darryl also sends in, how mint was it that Paul Dummett got his own little chant? How many questions
has Darryl sent in?
Oh, loads. He got his own little chant. Chut for the lad, and it's long overdue. Grafter and gives us his all. I think he's just said everything there.
He's gone through 4 tubs of Vaseline since then, Dummett, hasn't he?
Oh, he's
fucking wanked himself silly.
I feel as if this podcast has just gone.
We've been quite sensible tonight, haven't we?
Right, Jim Joe Shelby sends in thoughts, and he's
Hold on
attached.
a minute. Who?
Jim Joe Shelby.
Jim Joe Shelby.
And he's attached this photo. Want to watch? Facunda Ferreira has scored 16 goals in his last 16 games.
Yeah. Yep. I've seen that.
But there's another one.
There's a marquee.
Tovan is now apparently worth 80 odd million.
Yeah.
How much?
Because he's backing them in, man.
I still wish, honestly, if we had a better manager at the time, they could have gotten something out of him.
He
was a
pissed
player.
though, wasn't he?
Nah, he was a player.
He was weakest.
He wasn't interested in being there,
He
man.
was a player. Could I give people
bottom of
more
it.
than 9 months or whatever, man?
He couldn't hack the weather, man. You want him to be
He
back in the
would've.
south of France
He would've.
with his
He would have.
gorgeous supermodel
If Perez can get on,
girlfriend?
there's no one softer than
Gorgeous,
him.
like, was it?
Oh, stunning.
I think that
Aye, she was
might
lovely.
be it.
She was lovely, yeah. Like.
So, next up, Huddersfield. The next important game, Huddersfield.
Did you see the drew 0-0 with Swansea? Did you see the stats of that game?
Oh, Swansea.
They had 30 shots a
Jeez,
goal.
it was
Swansea had
30?
none. 30, man.
Yeah.
30 shots a goal.
To be fair, though, Swansea were down to 10 men within the first 16 minutes.
Oh, I haven't
Oh, was it? Oh,
much.
honestly, I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
that. I must admit, I didn't know
I
that.
haven't
you
done
got
much
sent
notice
off?
then in the football this weekend. Like,
It'll
I
be-
know that all the results went in our way, which was a
It
blessing.
was a fantastic.
No,
Even the draw,
Are you
that
got sent off?
the Swansea draw, like everything went
Good
in.
eye, good result.
It's
Oh,
gonna be-
Daryl Mitchell Hill also sent in that Sunderland could almost be relegated
Eh?
because of the results around them. Hull was winning.
Won
tonight?
4-3, didn't they?
Well, they're not getting relegated tonight, but the gap's just widened.
Dead.
What, tonight, you know? Off tonight's games?
Tonight's games,
Oh,
aye.
really? Oh, I don't-
Aye.
Yeah.
Who was it? It was Hull and someone else.
Decker's been too busy
Hull and
looking at
Barnsley were
his-
winning.
his second team, United.
Aye, Hull and Barnsley were winning. So they must be right around.
No, we're.
Were? Oh, was it now? Both of them.
That's just finished.
God, QPR beat Villa 3-1 at Villa.
What was this?
Anyways, Hull City won 3 now though.
Right, so Huddersfield coming up.
It's going to be a damn sight harder than the Southampton game. I think. I think the intensity will be right up there. Be a hard game that.
They're going to
They're
come
a,
out.
di- they're a
the trap
different.
talker.
They're a different team away from home than they are at home. Like
I think
that's
they've got
that's
some,
the only thing. If we play like we did
the battle of the Bowlies
on
is gonna be the
Saturday,
one.
we'll
Battle of the Bowlies.
do
Shelby
it.
against.
He was shite last season at our place.
What's he called again?
Moy.
Good player. Tore one apart in the first game.
Is that little fat lad?
Aye.
Tubby lad, he's Baldy in midfield.
He's just a shit job.
He's a good
Shelby,
player.
that
He's
one.
a good player, him. And I think they've got a left winger who I think is pretty tricky. And they've got a good
They've
striker.
got good. They've got good no-name players.
No, they
I
haven't,
think
but
it's- they're not a.
they remind a little bit of us in the sense of they've got no big names, but as a team they really do work hard for each other, a bit like us. And I think we'll win. I do, but I think it'll be a tough game though.
They just play with that a lack of fear because
Yeah, I agree.
we talked about it at the start of the season.
So is it 2 weeks away?
3?
3. Yeah.
3?
Well, 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
this
innit?
weekend.
Aye.
2.5 weeks if you want to get technical.
Shall we wait and maybe do a Huddersfield preview? We've got 2 weeks free.
I will, man.
There's no talk about between then, is
Well, when Dummett robbed a taxi and that, we'll talk about that. After his Spanish little holiday.
Seen the prices for the flights out there now.
a couple £100 on
Is
it?
it?
150 quid one way, man.
There's people going out like.
There'll be people out.
Aye, there is. Aye.
Jesus. Unbelievable. That, like.
150 quid one way, man.
I'd be away if I didn't have a wife and kid. Like 100%, I'd be there. 100%.
Stop me, like.
Wife and kid.
You know, model husband and parent. And that. Someone's got to do the
Role
bit.
model, man. Role model. I think he's saying you've got a little cock.
Is that why you're always late for this?
If you wanted to go.
Eh? Oh no, I agree. I could just go on going, but you can't do that. That's not right, is it? Not right.
Shall we call him that?
It's Tuesday. Right. I say that every time, don't I?
It's a night.
Well, thanks very much for watching. I've only had 1 pint. Which is
I know. Ball service has been terrible tonight.
I fucking only got 1 pint because I'm bored pissing around and I haven't got us one back. That's
He didn't
why.
drink his.
I know.
Has he not?
Yeah, you give it in.
I drank it.
Oh, really?
Aye.
Top man.
You didn't get in the bar for it.
Toss it.
You're sacked.
Right, Dave, thanks for watching.
Miami
Thanks for listening.
business.
Thanks to our 2 sponsors who you'll see at the
Whoa! I've just remembered something. Speaking of sponsors, you know we were sitting here last week talking about the Jungle Book.
Aye.
Have you seen the new shirt that's coming out?
I told you in the last podcast that it was a
What, is it a
bear.
Jungle Book?
It's
Oh,
a bear. Oh, is that why we started talking
Yes.
about it? All right, fair enough.
Oh, think about it. We'll cover that last week, Mark.
No, but I thought it's because we started talking about the Jungle Book, and then
we did, like,
then it came out. And
Yeah, that's 'cause
it was a bear.
Baloo's
because you said it was a bear.
Baloo's the next one.
Okay.
We've got Shere Khan. Was it
Baloo's
Shere
the
Khan the
next
snake or was Shere Khan the
was
tiger?
Baloo the bear.
No,
No.
Panther.
What's
No,
It was
Panther
the
was
Black
it.
Panther and the tiger.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
but Shere Khan was the tiger, wasn't
Hey.
he? You've never seen the Jungle Book?
Oh, that way, right? I didn't know what you were talking about, man. I thought, I'm not even going to say what I thought you were talking about. Horrendous. I'm not even going to say it. It would just make us sound
So
terrible.
you be racist again?
Shall we go?
Oh, Dean.
Right, thanks to the two podcast sponsors, and you'll
Can't be racist.
You'll see the
It's
information. You'll see the
Indian
website
food,
on
that.
the podcast information. I'm just talking over them now. So yes,
IGC, International Glass Consultants Limited,
I wear the glass.
and Guillermo.
He says it really well, doesn't he?
He's been practicing.
Guillermo.
I just sit in front of
He
the
writes it on his
Guillermo.
mirror.
We should sign him. Maybe a
Guillermo.
marquee sign.
Guillermo.
Guillermo, we'll sign him, mate.
Get him on.
Podcast sponsor.
Get him on.
Who's
He's not even Italian.
that's still doesn't matter. Just look at the information in this podcast, and you'll have links to
from,
the
like, Heaton or
websites.
something.
Well, yeah, shut up, man, you twat. Right, thank you. Bye. See you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
This is free, so just you don't have to give any money.
Free podcast. Enjoy it.
Bye.